Hello, Globetrotters. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori, and in this community, we aim to educate, motivate, and inspire each other in all things travel and lifestyle related. Welcome to all of the new subscribers. I see you, I recognize you. We value you here in our little corner of the internet. This is the beginning of my travel season. Stay tuned because there's going to be lots of travel content. I have some stories for you on this trip. Like I say, experiences over things, and with every trip I take, I gather more stories. So in this video, you're going to hear some story time, so make sure that you wait towards the end for that. By the way, as you're watching the video, if you find that you learned something new, if you're enjoying the content, please make sure that you click that thumbs up button, like the video. There's also something you can do to hype the video up if you're on your phone. You can just swipe and hype and give the video points, and somehow YouTube ends up pushing it out more, suggesting it more to new viewers so other people can learn what we already know and what we're learning here in our little community. So let's go ahead and get started. Come along. Even if you want to go to the French side, you have to fly into the Dutch side. So there's two sides to the island: Sint Maarten, Sint-Maarten, and Saint, Saint, Martin, Martin. So that's the French side is the Saint Maarten, and the Sint Maarten is the Dutch side. So if you want to stay on the French side, which is where a lot of the celebrities live and all of the things, then you have to fly into Sint Maarten, which the Dutch side has the larger airport, and then you would have to drive 30 minutes or so, depending on traffic, on the 2-lane highway across the bridge into the French side. But all of the private planes were parked on the Dutch side, and all the celebrities had to go over to the French side. Now, this was approximately during spring break time in March that I went, and there were a lot, at least a dozen private planes parked at the airport. I kid you not, at least a dozen. I've never seen so many private planes at one airport before. So this is where the first impressions hit right away. And the hotel that we stayed at was directly across from the airport. My first time flying into St. Maarten. I'd seen it before on cruises, but had not had an opportunity to spend some extended time there and explore and get into the culture and all the things. I really, really wanted to see this island, explore it, and also go to two that I had not previously visited, Anguilla and St. Barths. Couple of things you need to know. Airport, immaculate, modern, clean, airy, spacious, lots of cabs outside. I was able to just walk over to where the shuttle was for the hotel, because they had buses available to bus you to, the 5 minutes to the hotel, and that was fine. Most of the hotels are in that region. They do drive on the right side of the street if you're planning on renting a car. I think it's quite doable to drive around there. And Ubers are available. They may be expensive. We didn't take any Ubers. We just walked everywhere and took a private taxi whenever we needed to. We just had the concierge or someone at the front desk call for a taxi for us to get over to the French side. Now, the French side has the regional airport if you're going to smaller islands, but for international flights, it's generally coming in on the Dutch side. Money, let's see. Exchange your cash if you wish, but I generally don't. I go to the ATM machine at the airport or in my hotel, and I withdraw cash in the denomination of that country. There were quite a few places, including at the ferry terminal. If you're planning to go to Anguilla or St. Barths, they do not accept US currency. So you have to have euros, or you can use your credit card. Some places don't accept credit cards, so you have to have cash. So it pays to have some euros with you. You have to pay a tax in cash when you take the ferry. So make sure you have cash. If you don't, make sure you just at least get to the ferry terminal early enough that you can get to an ATM machine. They can direct you to where there's a safe ATM machine in the vicinity. So that really helped out. So the first thing we did was we checked out the room, we headed down, grabbed some food at the restaurant in the hotel, Salt. You'll see me referring to my phone because I had some notes that I made here for you guys, and I'm also looking at some of the footage that I had. That evening, we walked to the Simpson Bay area to check out where the other hotels were and what was going on down there. Now, it was a Wednesday night, so there wasn't much going on in terms of nightlife. So the very next day, we took a cab over to the French side, and we basically just explored the entire day there. We walked up the stairs to the old fort where the French defended the island against any attackers. And that was quite a hike, but so worth it. Breathtaking views. Trust me, it's worth it when you get to the top and you see the marina with, all the yachts docked out there and just the beautiful scenery of just the gorgeous island. And then got down from the fort and walked over to the mall and did some shopping there at Mall of the West Indies, I believe it was called, and did some shopping there. I got a cute little beach bag. I got a 100% cotton sweatsuit set, like off-white cream sweatsuit. And I also, no, that's all I got from the mall there. So got my souvenirs, got that out of the way. Living the dream. And wanted to go ahead and get something to eat. It was getting dark. Looked like it was about to rain. We went to this awesome restaurant that sold Creole food. So we got some black rice and some, just like typical Haitian type food and just enjoyed that immensely. And then took a cab back over to the other side. Next day, got up. Marigot is the town over on the French side where the ferry leaves. So we took the cab over to Marigot, it was like a 20-minute ride, and then paid in cash only, $30 for the ferry, and then either €7 or you can use your credit card to pay for the taxes. And the taxes, again, was €7. That's it. So we took the short ride over to Anguilla in the ferry. It was pretty crowded. They make sure they fill every seat because the ferry goes back and forth all day. They make sure they get their money's worth, okay? The cab driver that we connected with going to the ferry also had someone over in Anguilla that he sent our information to, took a quick snapshot of my friend and I. And when we got there, she showed us her phone and our pictures on her phone, and she was there to pick us up so we didn't have to worry about anything, which in Anguilla, the cabs are limited, so you may want to make sure that you prearrange your ride from the ferry. It's a smaller island population-wise. It's about the same size as St. Maarten. However, the population, according to our driver, was only about, what did she say, 15,000 people, which is mind-boggling. 15,000 people and 33 beaches, all public. All of the beaches are public. She said that most of the activity is on the western part of the island. So she drove us to the Savvy Beach Club, and along the way we stopped and we took pictures next to some of the signs, and we saw the scenery, and it was so beautiful. So Savvy Beach Club is located in Needs Bay, and on the other side there is a Shoal Bay, I believe she said, on the east side. We enjoyed our time there, and then when it was time to board back the ferry, our cab came back. She told us what time she was going to return, picked us up and took us back. Told our concierge and the different people we spoke to, the other locals that we spoke to, saying, we want a grown-up vibe, we want a lounge vibe, we don't want a rah-rah, we want to just sit down, enjoy good music, sip good drinks, and enjoy the vibes. Well, they said Nowhere Special is more of our crowd. But everything is along the same strip. So the cab driver dropped us off in the middle of the strip. We did not go to Nowhere Special because Nowhere Special looked like an outdoor type of bar. And it's a bar and more of a restaurant. So it's like a pre-gaming spot, right? So you go, it's kind of like an open beach bar type of vibe. You eat, it closes early. So then people usually migrate from there and walk down the strip to the other side, across from the casino. There are tons of other bars. The biggest nightclub, Lotus. Yeah, but honestly, Lotus is more for the 21 18 to 22 maybe range. Now, there were some older gentlemen in there who seemed to be preying on the young ladies. The vibe was not for us. The music was good, but it was very much a teeny bopper crowd. And yeah, we're way beyond that at this point in life. So we ended up just going back across the street, hanging out, having a great time, and heading back to the room at about 1:30 or so, because we knew we had to wake up the next morning and make it over to St. Barths, hopefully. So there was a ride coming for us, and we needed to be prepared. So everyone warned us that the next day when we went to St. Barths, that it was going to be a longer ride, 45-minute ride, and it was going to be very choppy. The waters are choppier going in that direction. So the very next day, got up, did it again. We did not go back over to Marigot. Going to St. Barths cost us $105, and that included the round trip transfer. So direct pickup from your hotel to the private dock that this tour group has. Got on the boat, sat up on top, enjoyed the breezes going across 45 minutes, met some other fabulous people, and went over into St. Barths. St. Barths, beautiful, but they will tell you expensive. As soon as you get off the ferry, there are taxis there, but the taxis are, they said it's limited to only about 45 taxis on the entire island, which sounded crazy, but it's less than 100 taxis on the entire island. So you may want to make sure that either you pre-book your transfer or you don't lollygag too long, because then you'll have a hard time getting over there. However, you should know that the shops close around lunchtime, and they'll go off on a break to eat lunch, to have lunch, to go home, to come back, what have you. And they may be closed for more than an hour. Some are closed for 2-3 hours. So depending on the time that you get over there, you may wish to just take the taxi, go to the beach club so you can get a chair, because they're very limited, and then come back early from the beach club to the ferry area and do all of your shopping, because all of the high-end shopping was right there along the strip where the ferries docked. We did a little bit of shopping, walked into the different stores, enjoyed that beautiful, beautiful sight, and then went on to try to get to Nikki Beach. Well, as we tried to get into a taxi, we had a little bit of a problem getting into that taxi. Before we even got into the taxi, we did a little bit of shopping, and then we went to find something to eat. Found a place up a little alleyway, climbed the stairs, and tried to get some crepes. Well, in this particular establishment, there was only one other table that they were servicing, and the table seemed to just be, relaxing, enjoying the last bits of their meal. So there was no ordering to take place. It took them a while to even come over and ask us for our drinks order, and all we wanted was water. And then it took another 20 minutes, and we were looking around like, well, what's going on? Because they're walking back and forth, and they're completely ignoring us. At which point I looked to my friend, and I'm like, and she goes, "You want to leave, don't you?" And I'm like, I'm ready to go. Got up, and they came over. "Oh, we were about to fix your grips and take your order." And I said, no, that's okay. How much is it for the waters? And it was going to be like $10 or something for one glass of basic tap water, and then one bottle of sparkling water. So I just dropped a $20 note, a US dollar note on the table, and we left, because I tend to go off of my energy, my feeling, my gut, whatever you want to call it, and the energy just was not right there, and I just would not eat there. So I didn't even take the water, I just left. We walked down the hill again, and we got some paninis and some, basic stuff at another establishment where we saw other people like us who were eating and seemed to have been enjoying themselves. So that left a bad taste in my mouth, I will say. But it only kind of, it got a little bit more complicated. Our rough times in St. Barth were not over, because we tried to catch a taxi and no taxis would stop for us. So we walked all the way back to the ferry dock where the taxi stand was. And as we approached each of the taxis, they said, "Oh, no, we're off. We're not going that way. We're not going that way." And they were just sitting there empty, not doing anything. And then finally one came along, dropped some people off, and then he told us we can come in, got in the cab, and then we saw a group of people who were on the ferry with us coming over, who also looked like us, some couples who were traveling. "Hey guys, who were traveling as well. And the taxi driver said, do you mind if we pick them up as well? I said, oh, no, we know them, let them come in. It was a minivan. Now it ended up being how many of us? 8 of us in this minivan, just kind of stacked and squished together. He said it would actually make your ride cost less. Now, let me tell you how much the ride was going to cost us if it was just the 2 of us. $90. $90 to drive 5-10 minutes on this tiny island. But again, supply and demand. There are very few taxis, and so we're not going to be able to get a ride otherwise. And there are no sidewalks to walk along to go to the beach area. So they jumped in. We just, tapped to pay, and everybody gave whoever tapped to pay the cash so that we could make sure we covered him. Tipped him generously so that he would come back to get us, because again, remember, taxis are limited. So we arranged our ride. He came back to get us later on. People will tell you all the time, oh, the Gypsy Beach Club, the Nikki Beach Club. Well, Nikki Beach Club, you actually need reservations. And we met up with some other people that we had seen the previous day in Anguilla, and they were telling us how they did not even give them a towel, that they had to pay $100 for a towel to put down on their beach chair. And yeah, they got to keep the towel, but still $100 to sit at their beach club, to spend money at their beach club, because it's very, very expensive. But we went to Gypsy Beach instead of Nikki Beach. No regrets. They made space for us, brought out a beautiful fruit board, had some coconut drinks that were delicious. The entertainment was amazing. This gentleman playing his guitar, just singing and having a good time. And honestly, the employees there felt like they were happy. They felt like they were well paid and weren't abused and like they wanted us there. We felt welcomed there. So I would always recommend Gypsy Beach. I didn't go to Nikki Beach, but from my friends who were there, my new friends that I met who were there that were talking about the other beach, they came over to ours actually, and we were like, oh, okay, yeah, great. Water, beautiful, sand, white, soft, cool to the touch, not hot and compacted. I would say the water still not as good as Turks and Caicos. If you've seen my Turks and Caicos videos, water still not as warm as Turks and Caicos, but the water was good, because when you left the sea, you felt the silkiness. Like you didn't end up feeling tight and dried out and all of that. And of course, I know that's the salt and all of that. We're used to pool water, right? But your skin felt amazing, and I dunked myself in it and took the dramatic pictures and everything, but really, really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. That night we had dinner at the hotel because, again, it was late by the time we got back. We did not get back to our hotel until about 8-9 o'clock. So we showered and got dressed up again and went down to eat and had what was the beginning of a lovely dinner before the whole incident happened. Now, I will say my overall impression of St. Maarten. It has become one of those islands, kind of like the Bahamas, because the Bahamas used to feel like home to us. It used to feel welcoming. We would literally, like no joke, go to the Bahamas at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. The first time we went, it was twice that year. We went twice. We went first, 3 of us friends. And then the second time, just a few months later, we went back and it was like 14, 15 of us. We brought other people with us. But the Bahamas now has been so commercialized. Yes, we understand that tourism may be your number one source of income for the economy. However, it's almost like they value people who look like this more than people who look like this, even though most of them on the island look like this. So while the young ladies who came in making all the noise looked like this, and we asked our server to go speak to them, no one said anything to these young ladies. I had the name and number of the security lead at the hotel because we'd met the night before and we had a great conversation and everything. And he said, oh, when you guys come back, because I was planning on coming back to that hotel. Oh, I will be going back to St. Maarten, by the way. But I was planning on coming back, planning my birthday party there, bring a whole lot of friends, this big event, rent a yacht, do all the things. And he said, okay, give us, let me know when you're coming back. I'll make sure I make all the preparations. You guys will have a great time. And, all the perks and the bells and the whistles and all the things. Sent him a text because I had his number in WhatsApp. Said, hey, this is the situation. There's some belligerent teenagers. Can you come to the front? He came out of his meeting. He said, sorry for the delay. I was in a meeting, blah, 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 blah. He spoke to us, apologized profusely and all the things, and then walked right past the girls. So again, while one-on-one, we felt valued, when it was us compared to other people standing there, it did not feel the same. It did not feel the same. Funny story though. They didn't reach out to us, the management or anyone else, but we did see that girl again the next morning. So she walked away, right, that night at the dinner. And I mean, we got into it because she was calling me all sorts of B and all of this because I said, hey, would you mind please keeping it down? We're trying to have dinner over here. Oh, at 9 o'clock? So early? Oh, some of us are actually trying to have fun on vacation. Okay, boring. Okay, boring. And I'm like, excuse me? I said, well, if you would learn how to behave as an adult and hold your liquor better, you wouldn't be so obnoxious. Well, I'm not an adult. And I said, well, then maybe you shouldn't be drinking. And she's whispering some things over there. That's when she's like whispering the B word and all of that. And I said, you should say that louder so I can hear you. You should really say that louder so I can hear you. So at this point, I take my phone out and I flip it on and I put it on the thing. So of course she calms down. She sees the phone now recording. And I tried to record. And of course, she didn't say anything on camera. But her father tried to calm her down, her sister or whomever tried to calm her down. The next morning, as we're going up to our room to grab our bags after we had breakfast at the sweet spot next door, she was coming into the elevator as well. So we're on the ground floor, we're getting into the elevator. It's the two of us, my friend and I, her, and then a worker from the hotel. So we get into the hotel and I'm sipping my smoothie. I gotten a protein smoothie and I'm sipping my smoothie. And my friend and I and her are in the back of the elevator. We're on either side of her. And we're just standing there looking at her up and down like this. She's taller than us, but you can tell she's younger. So we're like, now I'm like, all that liquid courage gone. And she's just like staring at the numbers on the elevator. And then the hotel worker leaves the elevator. Oh. Now she's trying to form conversation. She's like, oh, that drink looks good. What's that? And I said, boring, not missing a beat. Boring. She said, that's fair. And she keeps looking up. And meanwhile, she's turning like red and purple and all kinds of colors. And if we were not the professionals that we are, with multiple degrees between us, about 6 degrees between the two of us, it may have ended differently. If we had one more person who could have bailed us out of jail, or, let's just say we didn't want to be locked up abroad. I'll just leave it at that. We did not want to be locked up abroad. We didn't know if there was a camera. More than likely there was a camera in the elevator. So, we're thinking all the things, and we have way too much to lose. And that's all I'll say about that. So that's my story time for this trip. But it was oddly satisfying. You know what I mean? It was oddly satisfying to see how much she feared us and to see how it was only that liquor that gave her all of that courage. And honestly, it kind of took a little bit of the out of me. And I was just like, So when I got on the plane, I wasn't as angry and upset. And it was a lovely trip overall, honestly, except for those few hiccups that I mentioned here. But let me know if you've ever been to St. Maarten or Anguilla or St. Barths. Would you go again? Did you have similar experiences? What were your highs? What were your lows, your pits and your, what do they call it? Your peach and your pit? Let me know down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you thumbs up the video. Make sure you share it with others who like similar content as well. As always, be sure to value experiences over things, because travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.